Jai Hind students. Today I'm going to discuss about one of the standard data types of Python, that is a list. So as you can see, list in Python, and it's my session 2. Objectives that I have decided today to cover are list in Python introduction, then creating a list. We'll see that list versus string. We'll discuss that above, and then we have a list operation, traversing, joining, repeating, and slicing. There's all 4 operations we'll see. List manipulation, appending, updating an element, deleting, making a true copy of the list, and list functions. We have several functions that we'll discuss today, like index, append, extend, insert. Then we have a pop, remove, clear, count, reverse, and sort. These are the objectives of today. Let's see. List, as you all know, is one of the data type in Python, and it's a mutable data type. It means you can change a particular element of a list directly. In case of a string is also a data type, but a string are immutable and lists are mutable. That is a basic difference between list and a string. Now, definition of the list, I already again said the list is one of the standard data type in Python which help us to store any types of data separated by comma in a square bracket. A square bracket means middle bracket, you can also say. Let's see how to create a list. If it is a matter of creation, list can be created by different ways. Now the second objective, as you can see, creating list. Now to create a list, you can take any example, that is L equal to, L is a list here. You can say L, you can say L1, any variable name you can use, and equal to mid bracket. This will create an empty list. This will simply create an empty list in Python. You can also create a list and you can initialize the element of the list like this. You can also create a list and you can initialize the element either character, or it could be a combination of different kind. These all are example of list, how to create a list. This is empty list. Here I have declared a list called L and I initialize the element 1, 2, 3. Here it is a character ABC I declared as an again element of the list. Here it is a combination. You may take any example like ABC 98 2.5b. 2.5 is a float, 98 is an integer, ABC is a string, and B is a character. So list can carry any type of data in the mid bracket separated by comma. This is a freedom we have in list. And you have another way to create a list is L1 equal to list is a method. Simply you say list, L-I-S-T, open close bracket. This will also create an empty list L1. If you say L1 equal to list bracket and then you said apple, it means you created a list and you also initialize the element of the list. It means L1 now having element A, P, P, L and E. This is how a list can be created in Python. That was my second point of today, creating a list. Now list versus string. List and string both are the data type in Python where the list is a mutable and a string is an immutable data type. It means in list you can change the position of an element, but in a string you can't change the position of an element. In a string, the same way we can slice like a list, or in list and string slicing pattern is same. Index position of the element in a string or index position of element in a list are same. A storage in a list and a string are different. List store the data in a different way because in list, an element can have more than one element. A list can have a sublist also. That's why the storage in the list and strings are different. In list, we store the element separated by comma in a mid bracket. Here in a string, we keep in a single quotes like apple. This is what the difference between list and string. Both are the data type in Python. Now list operation, traversing. First is traversing. Traversing is a process to read the element of a list from the first to last. That is what traversing is. Can be done easily by a loop. Same you have seen in the case of a string, how to traverse the element of a string. Same way you can do here, traversing in a list also. If you want to see, you simply say L2 equal to particular, suppose a list I am declaring A, B, C and D. These are the element of a list. If I want to traverse, simply I'll use a for loop for I in, then just use the L2 as a list name and then go for the print command. Print and then say simply I. Here I is a variable name, so say print I. It will give you each and every element of this list L2 since I used in for loop I in L2. This is how to traverse a list. Now joining. To join a list in Python, we have a concatenation operator plus. So simply you can say, if there is a list L1 and there is a list L2, if you want to add in L3, simply L1 plus L2 will solve the purpose. You have to initialize the L1, you have to initialize the L2, and in L3 you can simply say L1 plus L2. Here plus is a concatenation operator, and that is how to join the two lists or more than two lists you can add. Likewise, you can keep on adding, it depends on you. And then we have a repeating. Now repeating means just repeating the element of the list again and again after completion of ones from the first to last. That is what repeating is. If you want to repeat the element of a list in Python, we can use the asterisk, that is a multiply symbol in Python. You can simply say print, suppose L1 equal to, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. These are element. And if I'm using print L1 star, a star is operator, and then 3 or 4, it will give you this all element that many times. So L1 will give you now 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What you are saying here, L1 having the 3 sets of same list 1, 2, 3, 4. Since I use the 3 times repetition of the same. Now slicing means extracting the part of a list. For slicing, we have a same pattern or method like a string that you've seen in the previous class. Just see how to slice a list. Now for example, if L1 equal to A, B, C and D, these are the 4 elements, and I want to slice L2 equal to L1, just say L1 and then say 1 colon 3. Now this is what range I mentioned for the slicing. As you can understand, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. It means you mention 1 as an starting index for slicing, that is B. So it will show you L2 will give you the output now. First means B and 3, that is the last index position, so it will extract till second because this is the last. And generally in Python, whatever the last index position we have, it always gives one element less than that, that is B and C will be the output of this. And likewise in any order you can slice a list. So this is what traversing, joining, repeating and slicing. Now come to the list manipulation. Means how to manipulate a list. Now first, as you can see, appending. Appending means adding a new element in the list. So we have append method. Any list can be appended L1 dot append. And then you just say append inside it whatever element you want to append. Here in L2, 10 will be added at the last. Append method always add a element at the last of the list, whatever you are using in parameter of the append method. Now updating an element, simply replacing an element with other element in a list, that is called updating an element. For updating, you may say L2 dot, and since it's an update, so you can say L2 dot update, and inside it you can say, or updating means simply you just use the list name, index position, that is 2, and equal to whatever you want. This will simply update. It means second element or third element, since it is a 2, 0, 1, 2, third element of L2 will be updated with 30, whatever was the old value. It will be now 30. So this is how to update an element. Deleting means simply deleting an element from the list. So you have a del method, del, and then list name, L2, and then the index position, suppose 1. It means it will delete the element which is there at first position, that is a second element will be deleted from the list. This is how to append, update and delete. Here what you have seen, directly at a particular position you can replace that element. Here you had added an element at the last of the list, and del will simply ask an index and it will delete the element from that index. This is appending, updating, deleting. Now making a true copy of the list. A list can be copied simply just to have a one list assigned to the other. Suppose L1 equal to, I have a 1, 2.5, 3, 5.5. Now L2 equal to, I said L1. Once in Python, you mention a list name or assign a list name to the other list, what will happen? L1 and L2. Now these two are referring a same list, that is 1, 2.5, 3, 5.5. So there is no two lists created. Basically L1 and L2, these are the two variables referring to the same element in the memory. That is what basically happens once you said L2 equal to L1. If you want to make a true copy of a list, then you have to say L2 equal to, we have a method called list, and inside it you pass L1, that is a list name. Now basically you are creating a two list, L1 and L2, and where L2 is an exact copy or true copy of the L1. So I hope making a true copy of the list you got. In this case, both list L1 and L2 treated like a variable and referring to the same memories, which having the element same 1, 2.5, 3, 5.5. But here, since I passed this L1 as an parameter to the list method, so the L2 has been created in the memory separately and L1 was already there. So two exact copy of the list has been created. That's why it's called making a true copy of the list. Now come to the list functions. We have an index function. Now index function of the list simply let us know the index of any index position of any element of a list. See how to use the index. L1 dot index. And in bracket, since it's a method, you say element name. So what will be the index position of the 10 in this list? It will give you that. That is what index is. Append method, simply append, L1 dot append. And you just put a value. This will be added at the last of L1, that's why it's called append. And then we have extend, as I mentioned, L1 dot extend. Will extend a list with some other list, and you say L2. It means after the element of L1, L2 element will be added. So now L1 will be L1 plus L2. Extend and copy both are same, you can say. Once we are extending, or simply you can say L1, for example L1 equal to 5, 6, 7 and L2 equal to 6, 7, 8. Now once I said L1 dot extend L2, what will happen in the L1 now? L1 will be 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. This will be the output after using this command. So you can understand the list L1 is extended with the L2 element. This is what is extend insert method. Simply insert an element, L1 dot insert. You can use two parameters here. One is index position, that is 1. Suppose first position, or 1 means the second index, and then you mention suppose Z as an element. So what will happen? It will insert an element Z at the second position of the list L1. This is how to insert. Pop method simply delete an element from the list. And to use the pop, you can say L1 dot pop. And simply you can use this way, it will delete the last element of the list L1, or you may use L1 dot pop. Inside bracket you can use any again index position, and it will delete the element from that position from the list. But the pop display that element after deletion. In both case, either you are using without parameter, with parameter. Now remove method simply remove an element from the list. So you have to say L1 dot remove. L1 dot remove. Inside bracket you just put the element name and it will remove that element from the list L1. Clear method simply clear all element from the list. So syntax will be L1 dot clear. No argument required, since clear method clear all the element from the list. So L1 dot clear will clear all the list. Count help us to count a particular element in the list, how many times it occurs or repeated. For example, if I'm using L1 dot count, inside bracket I am mentioning a particular element name 10. Now how many times the 10 is there in the list 1, it will give me the counting of that. If the 10 is there 2 times in the list L1, the output will be 2. And the reverse is a method of a list class which help us to reverse the element of a list. So simply L1 dot reverse will reverse the every element of L1, and if you are considering 5, 6, 7 as an L1 element, then it will give you 7, 6, 5 as an output. This is what the reverse is. And sort help us to arrange the element of a list in order, and that is by default ascending, means increasing order, means smaller to higher. That is how sort method works. L1 dot sort. This will arrange all element of the L1 in an ascending order, but if you want sort method should arrange in a descending order, then you have to use the L1 dot sort, and then in bracket you have to say reverse equal to true. Now this means you want to sort the element of L1 in descending order, that is from decreasing order, that is from the highest to lowest. That is what the function of all the again list related function. If you have any doubt in this, we covered the everything of list today. What is list? Is one of the standard or fundamental data type in Python, which is mutable in nature. And for creating, you've seen there are different ways. You can create a list empty, you can create a list by the list method, you can create a list and initialize together. 3 methods I talked in that. List versus string. List is a mutable, a string is a immutable data type. List also having indices, a string element also having indices. And list slicing is again same way like a string. List store the element in a different way than the string. These are the few of the again differences between list and string or similarity in that. And the list operation traversing means reading or accessing the each element of the list. Then joining, how to join, simply L1 plus L2 plus L3 will add a list or join a list. Repeating a star sign with a number will repeat the element of list. So you can say simply print inside bracket L1 star 3 or L1 star 5. L1 element will be repeated 5 times. Slicing, you can use the index position, you can use the range, and it will simply slice the list. Appending, adding a new element in the list. Updating, simply you can insert a particular element in the list. Deleting, simply remove element from the list. And then making a true copy, as I mentioned, and then the all function I discuss. I hope whatever I discuss will be digestible to you. If you have any doubts, please don't forget to comment in the video any sorts of discrepancies or any problem you have. Otherwise, kindly go through complete video and find out whatever the difficulty area you have. Jot down all the points that I discussed, and if you have any doubts, let me know through WhatsApp or any way. Thank you all. Also subscribe this video, that will help you to know my second video. Thank you all.